So we actually had a email question come in, and it was a great question, obviously. And it was like, can you have too much commissioning on a job? And what are your thoughts?
Absolutely. So, short answer, yes, you can. There is a hierarchy of complexity in buildings. Let's say at the bottom of the hierarchy, the I care less is residential. And at the top are the most mission critical buildings like a biolab or a data center or something like that, or a nuclear power station, right? And then there's everything in between. There's hotels, there's office, there's AAA office, right? So there is a level of testing and commissioning and detail required that is different at the bottom to the top, right? So data centers, talk about data centers, everyone understands data centers. Data centers are mission critical. They require, and many of them are certified for a 99.99% uptime. So what does that mean? That means they've been tested to destruction. They've had every possible failure scenario tested, and there is equipment and systems in there for backup on backup on backup, right? So there is a level of testing there that is appropriate, that is not appropriate for, say, a residential or a hotel, right? So yes, you can have too much. If you're applying a data center standard to a hotel, that's too much testing, too much money, too much time.
Well, so remember, what was the real intent of commissioning, right? It was basically to get it working, get it back out there.
Yeah.
But it was also for the owner, by the owner, right?
Yeah.
So when someone asks me, they go, oh, well, who sets the commissioning requirements? The owner, not the
Correct.
commissioning person. Also, the scope of work,
Yeah.
owner. Also, if the owner then basically says, hey, I'm going to basically commission a building to ASHRAE guideline 0 or 1.1 or whatever, requirement or standard we're going to use, that's what dictates it. When lead says that, but let me tell you something right now, it's owner approved. We're still a quality of focus process for enhancing the delivery of the project per the intent of the OPR, right? So the owner, if the owner basically says to a commissioning person, you've done enough, you've done good. Okay. You're like, okay, you're going to sign right here that I'm going to close it out with issues. Okay. Okay. Because as soon as you sign off that dotted line, all the subs are like, woo, we're out of here. Yeah. You know what I mean? I tell the owner all the time, do you want to get what you paid for? Yes. Do you want to follow the rabbit crumb? Yes. Am I your bulldog? Yes. You know what I mean? So as soon as take my teeth away, because the teeth are the owner with teeth, right? Yeah. So, but remember, the owner has got to be on your side because they hire you, right? So you're there to make sure you're working with everybody. You're not being mean, but remember, when you are working with the team, and when you have a commissioning team, contractors, engineers, architects, owners, when you have a team and you're working together, you are crossing that line together. You're winning the race. But when you're not, woo, right? So as soon as woo starts to happen, they're going to be like, I think there's too much commissioning. I think we're going too far here. I think, no, we're not. Follow the specs. I'm doing exactly what it said I should be doing, and you're not.
So you hit the nail on the head there, specs. So in my opinion, all problems on a job begin and end with the owner. Right now, what I mean by that is, if I'm a developer and I want to build a hotel, it's on me to put out a design brief that specifies what I want and what level of testing I want, right? Now, again, take the data center industry. They are, that in their view, and I'll challenge anyone on this, on their view, the current standard for design and construction is not good enough. So they put out their own specifications, right? I looked at a data center spec recently for commissioning. I can't name the names, it's subject to an NDA, but they go into excruciating detail about what to test and how to test it and what constitutes a pass and a fail. And they had to write that because the design teams and the industry that they're getting this product from, called a data center, doesn't deliver that. So they say, look, I don't care what you guys do on other jobs. On my job, this is what you're doing, right? So as owners, they take responsibility for the outcome they want, right? They ask for it in detail. Most owners do not do that, right? If you're building a hotel, just pick on hotels. Most hotels, they have their standard SOPs and a few tests that are normally driven by insurance requirements. They don't go into excruciating detail about this is what we're going to test, this is what we're going to accept.
Well, as soon as you go to a hotel that does not have the chiller plant, and you go into a PTAC or basically a shaker or a window or something like that, They're like, it does no controls. You don't have a lot to do here. I'm like, you don't want me to verify what's going on with the water, with the mixing? Like,
Yeah.
so are you sure that it's at not at 115 or 120 to scalding to 137? You have any idea how many rooms I have gone through with basically with the FLIR? I checked out the airflow, I checked out the blockage, checked out the return, checked out basically,
Yeah.
the flows. Like, oh no, right? And also then you look at the heat pump, you're like, or it's backwards, or like it's amazing how many things can go wrong even in a residential commercial house that
Hotels are
don't
the
get
worst
checked.
because all the occupants are transitory with no power. I
Yeah.
check into a hotel and it sucks. I just don't go back to that hotel, right?
Well, why is it always that, you're like, oh, I just bought $1 million condo or a $10
Yeah.
million condo, so it should be perfect. Like, I'm sorry, anybody that goes into a nice hotel or a beautiful condo, like go in the corner, look at the caulking, look at the even the counters, go into the bathroom, look at the fixtures. To be honest with you, like, so I treat every place that I work on that is my own. I own it.
Yeah.
So I do not leave there like I'll tighten a bolt on a wall, on a diffuser. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I just can't. There's just something about me where it's just, when people are like, oh, just don't step on the crack, you break your mommy's back, or don't hurt a bug, or don't do this, karma. There's something wrong with me that when I'm in a building, I'm like, we gotta point out, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I'm there for the owner. I'm there for the machine. I'm there to make it run better. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I just believe in that machines have feelings too, I really like, that's why my nickname is like Neo, because like I mean, you got to get into it going, oh, you dirty little motor. Like, I was in a mechanical room the other day and I'm sitting there just looking around going, who would walk out of here with this much dust? I mean, who would say, I'm done? I would literally, I got a rag and I started wiping off, a motor. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just so not right. It's just, or you see a fan on a VFD that's basically dirty with dirt. Like, just, get a little vacuum cleaner. I don't know. There's just, you got to follow through. And I think that's wrong with the world these days. Just, what if nobody was watching? What would you do?
Oh yeah, that's a big question that is philosophically.
That's
But
another one.
to wrap this up, I think yes, you can have too much. And it is on the owners and the owners' advisors to specify the level of testing and acceptance criteria on every building type. End. Period.
But just last thing I'll say is find owners, if you're watching this,
Yeah.
find people who care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, find someone like me. There are a lot of people like me. We care. We actually want to do a good job. Like, we want to be there. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe I have daddy issues, but I just want to make it better. I want you to like be happy. I want to get validation. I want to do a good job for you.
Yeah, and actually, that's more unusual than you think. What you just said there.